please, for the love of God, re-sign Mike Zimmer. I know a lot of people are saying that after a couple 6 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, this guy has had no Super Bowl wins, blah, yada, yada, yada. That just re-sign Mike Zimmer. Trust me. We're going to get into it, but first, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, leave us your thoughts. Should the Vikings re-sign Mike Zimmer, who, by the way, owns nearly a 60% winning percentage as head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. So, also, tomorrow is Mike Zimmer's 64th birthday. Be sure to wish him a happy birthday. Entering his 7th season as the Vikings head coach. And I'm going to kind of go through it year through year here. Down below, obviously, you can see. First year with the Vikings. Now, I would kind of want to go put a little asterisk right next to this because I feel like he had basically the same team that Leslie Frazier had. Now, of course, didn't have Anthony Barr, didn't have Teddy Bridgewater, and it was the fact he didn't have Adrian Peterson. He had him for one game. He basically had the same team, and he led them to almost a 500 record. Now, you're going to sit here and tell me that if Mike Zimmer had Adrian Peterson for a full 16-game schedule, he doesn't at least go 500? I believe he does. And the next year after that, the Vikings made the playoffs with, again, Adrian Peterson, and also got some issues figured out on their defense because that was one of the major, weaknesses of the Vikings before Mike Zimmer came there, who was the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys and the Bengals, and did a bang-up job, by the way. And ever since he's been the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, the Vikings have at least had a middle-of-the-pack, if not better, defense. So that's another reason that the Vikings should keep him. But going back to that 2015 year, he had Teddy Bridgewater coming out, learning a lot. Still had some offensive line issues, and that was kind of what led into the 2016 year. The Vikings went 8-8, started off 5-0. Man, everybody was jumping on the Vikings bandwagon. Am I wrong? Everybody was loving the Vikings, and it was just so funny to me as a Vikings fan. A lot of my friends were saying, "Man, the Vikings are really good this year, man. I always liked them." No, you didn't. Don't try coming at me like that. You've never been a Vikings fan. In fact, most of you gave me crap for when the Vikings, eventually lost, went 3-8 to finish out the season. So don't give me that. The following season, the Vikings invested in a couple of offensive tackles to actually help out the offensive line. T.J. Clemmings wasn't starting anymore. Thank you. And at which point the Vikings went 13-3, had the best defense in the NFL. Case Keenum, though, wow, that totally came out. Sam Bradford, did he not look amazing at times? Seriously, this guy was, especially that week one against the Saints. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. That guy was just throwing dimes. Dalvin Cook was running all over the place. Just a fantastic year. And then eventually the Vikings lost 38-7 Eagles. It was rough, but still, very promising year, very good year for the Minnesota Vikings. Minneapolis Miracle, though, I mean, come on, that's another thing we can't forget. We always will love Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs for that, no matter which team they play for. Anyway, 2018 season, Vikings brought in Kirk Cousins to be the starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And I know his stats will come out, will bleep out you. A lot of people are saying, well, statistically, he had a very good year. Well, stats aren't everything, especially considering the fact that they didn't make the playoffs. Their defense kind of fell off a little bit, which wasn't all Mike Zimmer's fault. I know that obviously as a head coach, a lot might get blamed on him, but wasn't all his fault. 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, almost 4,300 yards passing for the Vikings. Now, if you compare the 2 years, the 2019 year and the 2018 year that Kirk Cousins was the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, I think you would almost be crazy. Scratch that. You would be nuts to say that Kirk Cousins had a better year in 2018 than 2019. This guy, just from an effectiveness perspective, just from how the way the man played throughout all of 2019, and comparing those 2 years, 2018, 2019, it was very clear that Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins, the Vikings were a way better team, especially with Kirk Cousins having the better year in 2019. And also, Mike Zimmer's third all-time in wins as the Minnesota Vikings as a coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Again, almost a 60% winning percentage, 2 division championships, NFC North championships, that is. And, honestly, this guy, he just has a no-nonsense attitude. And I think from the beginning he brought that in. And it was kind of a fresh way of looking at it, fresh way of bringing it in because, Leslie Frazier had, I swear, did he not take NyQuil before every game? Something bad happened. Leslie Frazier, nothing. If something happens with Mike Zimmer, doesn't anyone remember what happened when Teddy Bridgewater got cheap-shotted? Yeah, that guy was on the field. They had to bleep out most of what he said because he's an energetic guy. He brings a lot to the table. So I believe the Vikings should stop playing with themselves, stop messing around, re-sign Mike Zimmer to a contract extension, please, and let's put this issue to rest. Now, let me know what you guys think. Should the Vikings re-sign Mike Zimmer? Should they finally put this issue to rest, and should we finally just call it a night?